No Republican or Bigfooter were harmed during the making of this video, just their pride. Check this video out from St. George, Utah. I bet we see a red hat, not quite like my red hat, but I bet we see a red hat at this anti-face mask protest. Oh!
No more masks! No more masks!
A passionate call for action Friday morning in St. George. Several police officers on standby as many locals called concerns about coronavirus spikes overblown.
The flu kills more than coronavirus.
My God. Look at that.
Others calling the virus a hoax or stating that asymptomatic carriers simply do not exist and they cannot be forced to wear masks anywhere as citizens of the United States.
If we want to wear a mask, that's fine. We can take care of ourselves.
I think St. George is coming to terms with the whole you can't have multiple wives thing, so this sort of feels right.
Some rally attendees say they shouldn't ever wear masks if they have any medical issues or mental health concerns, or if they feel they simply can't breathe.
When George Floyd was saying, "I can't breathe," and then he died, and now we're wearing a mask, and we say, "I can't breathe," but we're being forced to wear it anyway.
Did that woman just compare wearing a face mask to George Floyd being murdered?
When George Floyd was saying, "I can't breathe," and then he died, and now we're wearing a mask, and we say, "I can't breathe," but we're being forced to wear it anyway.
You white people.
But many stated that they believe in all cases masks jeopardize kids' health. Parents are demanding they have the right to decide what to do with their children.
I'll tell you another reason I hate masks. Most child molesters love them.
Apparently the gene pool is pretty shallow in St. Whitetown.
School administrators responding that they don't understand why crowds are protesting them based on a mandate given by the governor.
The entire town is on the joke, right? I mean, please tell me it was staged by The Onion. Please, this can't be real.
They blocked off the front entrance to the school building, and we went out to ask them to move, and they attempted to storm the school building.
The school board is implementing the governor's recent order that face shields alone are not enough.
Donald Trump is a dumb person, smart man.
And if a parent is adamant that their child...
Look, there's a red hat. I knew it. I hate always being right.
That their child cannot wear a mask or a shield, they must fill out a form including a doctor's note so the district can review it. In St. George, Katie Crowless, ABC4 News.
Now, check out this pro-Trump group that got a visit from Joe Biden. They were sure happy to get Joe's attention, weren't they? You'll never win, Joe. But Vice President Joe Biden told that red hat if he wins, he will work for him too. That's a man of class. And that's why Trump is so scared of good men like Joe Biden. He doesn't even measure up on the Richter scale.
I think I'll get real close to you and cough on you then. How's that?
Oh, wow. No. No way.
Let's go.
My father did not serve in World War II, so you Americans can kill each other with your ignorance. Wear a face mask. Do you think I like wearing this shit? But if I can wear it in public, knowing I'm doing my part to help not spread a pandemic, why can't you? Oh, and to make you realize just how much of a potential mass spreader murderer I could be, my zip code has the highest cases in Clark County, Nevada of COVID-19. You want to French kiss me? No? Oh, you want me to put my mask on, huh? Okay, well, I will just for you this one time. Oh.
In the name of Jesus. COVID-19.
COVID-19.
God damn it! Should have my face mask on. Tastes salty.
Vote on November 3rd.
I feel like a broken record when so-called conservatives try to whitewash the Black Lives Matter with All Lives Matter. If all lives mattered, we wouldn't be in this situation now, would we?
As Russell Sampson marched in a peaceful protest in his hometown of Franklinville, New Jersey, he captured this video of a man kneeling on another man's neck, imitating the way in which George Floyd was killed.
To acknowledge Donald Trump's racism means Trump cultists would have to acknowledge their own racism.
Trump, all the way. Trump. Hey, check this out. Hey, check it out. Hey, no, I got you. Because Black lives don't matter.
I think that at his core, 45 is a racist. He came down the steps of Trump Tower, a racist. He rode into the White House, a racist. And he has opened the door for every racist who's been hiding in the corners to come out and show themselves.
Trumpers don't know they are fascists, and they don't even have the education level to know what fascism is. In case you don't know, here's Nikki New from TikTok explaining what fascism is.
Early signs of fascism: powerful and continuing nationalism, disdain for human rights, identification of enemies as a unifying cause, supremacy of the military or police, rampant sexism, controlled mass media, obsession with national security, religion and government intertwined, corporate power protected, labor power suppressed, disdain for intellectuals in the arts, obsession with crime and punishment, rampant cronyism and corruption, and fraudulent elections. Now, I might not be a rocket scientist, but it sure as shit doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out.
The same thing happened in Germany. The Germans were brainwashed and realized until it was too late, and after the war was over, they were manipulated by Hitler and didn't know they were the bad guys.
The first time I saw Trump at a rally telling the crowd that he loved them, but he also hated everybody else. When I saw him leading them in a loyalty oath, using emotions in that way, I realized that this was not politics as usual.
Hail Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory!
We are seeing the rise of the American fascist movement right now.
Fascism was a very violent movement. He attacked the press. He attacked democracy as something that wasn't necessary. He joked about having term limits removed.
And we're going to win 4 more years in the White House. And after we win 4 more years, we'll ask for maybe another 4 or so.
Do you know how Hitler seized power in Nazi Germany? He created a crisis, demonized opponents, seized control of the free press, declared a state of emergency, undermined elections, made the rule of law irrelevant, ruled by executive order. If America falls, it will be because of the people who sat on their hands.
We are in a battle for our political and ideological lives. What was America is now under siege around the world. This is a dangerous, dangerous time for the world. Are we moving to a time where the 1930s have been forgotten and people are viewing it as a template, not a warning?
Donald Trump's corrupt Attorney General, Bill Barr, wants to charge protesters with sedition. Do you know what sedition means, Jimbo?
Wasn't it like sedition when you couldn't drink the alcohol?
No, you moron! That's prohibition!
Oh, Trump 2020.
Sedition means it's a serious felony, punishable by fines and up to 20 years in prison, and it refers to the act of inciting revolt or violence against a lawful authority with the goal of destroying or overthrowing it. By me saying vote Trump out and that Trump needs to be removed from office, they can twist and turn it around that my free speech is in violation of the law and I can be put in prison, which means it can be applied to you. We all have free speech, or none of us have free speech. Think about that for a minute.
President Trump declared Antifa a domestic terrorist organization. I have a message for Antifa terrorists. Stay the hell out of Northwest Georgia. You won't burn our churches, loot our businesses, or destroy our homes. I'm Marjorie Greene, and I approve this message.
Now this is the ultimate Karen, the Karen of all Karens. Meet Marjorie Greene. Get this, my little Republicans. Marjorie stated in a video, there's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to take this global cabal of Satan worshiping pedophiles out. And I think we have the president to do it.
There's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to take this global cabal of Satan worshiping pedophiles out. And I think we have the president to do it.
Greene later distanced herself from that conspiracy theory and rejected the label of QAnon candidate. That doesn't make it okay. Do you apologize after you yell fire in a crowded movie theater?
But the generations of Black and Hispanic men, do you want to know what holds them down? Gangs. Being in gangs and dealing drugs is what holds them down. That's not a white person thing.
Let me tell you what words are.
Words are things, I'm convinced. You must be careful about the words you use, or the words you allow to be used in your house. In the Old Testament, we are told in Genesis that in the beginning was the Word. And the Word was God, and the Word was with God. That's in Genesis. Words are things. You must be careful. Careful about calling people out of their names, using racial pejoratives and sexual pejoratives and all that ignorance. Don't do that. Someday we'll be able to measure the power of words. I think they are things. I think they get on the walls. They get in your wallpaper. They get in your rugs, in your upholstery, in your clothes, and finally into you.
Anyone that is a Muslim does not belong in our government.
Her words are just as bad as the trauma we all shared, witnessed, and felt on September 11th.
We had witnessed 9/11, the terrorist attack in New York, and the plane that crashed in Pennsylvania, and the so-called plane that crashed into the Pentagon. It's odd, there's never any evidence shown for a plane in the Pentagon.
She later admitted on Twitter that the 9/11 conspiracy theory was not correct. Too late. You put those words out there, Miss Thang.
America's the greatest country in the world. We need conservatives in Washington that will keep it that way.
The way I look at it, the damage was done on September 11th. American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the western side of the Pentagon at 9:37 in the morning. All 59 people, including those awful hijackers, died on board the aircraft. 125 people in the Pentagon as well. And Margie is running for Congress for her district in the good state of Georgia in this upcoming election?
And the so-called plane that crashed into the Pentagon.
So what's QAnon, you ask? QAnon is a far-right conspiracy theory that is beyond absurd. They allege that a cabal of Satan-worshipping pedophiles are running a global child sex trafficking ring, which is plotting against President Donald Trump, who is battling them, leading to a day of reckoning.
As NBC News reports, QAnon followers have been implicated in armed standoffs, attempted kidnappings, harassment, and at least one killing.
Speaking of child pedophiles, Donald Trump was sure buddy-buddy with Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that a fact? Or is that fake news?
And it involves the whole Space Force, possible alien life, like pedophiles, and it seeks to tie all of that together.
They also want the mass arrest of journalists and politicians. No part of that theory is based on fact, and Donald Trump supports them. Of course he does.
The theory is this belief that you are secretly saving the world from this satanic cult of pedophiles and cannibals. Does that sound like something you are behind?
Well, I haven't heard that, but Is that supposed to be a bad thing or a good thing?
It's not a conspiracy, it's fact. Donald Trump was picked by military leaders to run for president.
Margie said, "I will support legislation to end abortion in America." That's pretty scary considering that Supreme Court Justice Ginsburg just passed away. And you know what the Republicans want. They want to control your uterus. Women, your body is now being governed. How do you feel about that? Pretty scary. They want to take away your rights. Now, I'm a man, and because of that, I will stay out of this never-ending argument and platform the conservatives use to try and control what you women do with your body. But I will ask you this. She wants to protect the unborn fetuses, but stands behind the killing of children and innocent people by not legislating gun control by glorifying semi-automatics in her campaign ads. I see a lot of shock and awe, but no substance. God help us. You want to know what sets me off about these brain-dead, complicit red hat Trumpers? The lack of accountability. We have the murderer-in-chief on tape acknowledging the danger of the coronavirus, and yet he publicly lied to us, resulting in countless unnecessary deaths. Deaths he swore to protect as the president of our country when he took the oath of office. And this is what his blonde bimbo press secretary said.
How can the president bear no responsibility for the almost 200,000 lives lost when he downplayed the virus initially and he knew that how contagious and deadly it was? I don't understand how that can...
The president never downplayed the virus, once again.
I wanted to always play it down. I still like playing it down. Yes, sir. Because I don't want to create a panic.
How dare you? How dare each and every one of you that turned the blind eye on this? He's a liar. He doesn't care about you or me. All he wants is power and more power. Be smart. Be better than this.
But I like his policies.
That. Policies come and go with each administration. Do you want him to rewrite the Constitution and be president for life? Is that what you want? The first American dictator, Donald Trump. This is your argument. Trump didn't say that, and if he did, he didn't mean that. And if he did, you didn't understand it. And if you did, it's not a big deal. And if it is, others have said worse. Oh, but her emails, oh. Using ignorance to explain ignorance is self-defeating. In the age of information, ignorance is a choice. And now it's time for the Richter scale, the measuring system from 1 to 10, 10 being the big one, the earth-shaking reason why you should be shaken up, and why I'm not voting for this racist-in-chief. In the first episode, I talked about the racist white power video he retweeted. I gave that an 8.5 on my Richter scale. The second show, I explained why I believe he is a traitor to our country and our great military. That was a total 10. And last week's episode, I emotionally explained how he failed us in regards to the pandemic, with over 200,000 Americans dead because of his negligence and total disregard of his oath of office. As expected, that was a 10 as well. On this last and final election video, the first reason that made my head spin and realize how dangerous this man was back in 2017 after the riots in Charlottesville, West Virginia, when he said there were fine people on both sides. For the first time in American history, we had a president defend Nazis as fine people.
You also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name.
If facts and statistics really mattered to you, you would have stopped being a Trump supporter after that. you would have started to question everything about him and look at his conduct over the years. Trump supporters are fighting alongside with Nazis, white supremacists, and the Ku Klux Klan. As a red hat Trump supporter, you don't seem to have a problem with that. You're supporting the bad guys. You are the bad guys. Why don't you understand that?
You voted for a candidate endorsed by the KKK.
Yes.
For the rest of your life, you have to know that you voted the same way as the KKK. No ifs, ands, or buts. No doubt about it. Which I told him. She was chiming in and agreeing because there's no way around it. You voted for hatred. You voted against women, against the gay community, against Mexicans, against blacks. Yeah. And you're going to call yourself a Christian? I don't give a f*** if you go to church 23 out of 24 hours. You're a mean mother.
This represents a turning point for the people of this country. We are determined to take our country back. We're going to fulfill the promises of Donald Trump.
My father fought in World War II, and do you know what he and his country did in the war? They killed Nazis because they were the bad guys. Are you that stupid? You probably don't wear a face mask, and you probably don't even wear a seatbelt either. Here's a tip for you. The earth isn't flat either. Sorry to give that big piece of news to you.
Take your mask off! Yeah, take it off!
Idiot.
We're not doing it! Take off your mask! Take it off! Yeah, we got someone! Take it off!
I am so thankful my father passed away 5 years ago, because seeing what he fought for in World War II become a national platform by a renegade, rogue, out-of-control autocrat president, wannabe dictator, would have probably have killed him. But I'm alive, and killing Nazis is what real Americans did. God bless the greatest generation. The fact this is happening now is because they're all dying off. And once again, evil feels safe to show its vile hidden head. Thank you, Benedict Donald. Like comedian John Oliver said, Nazis are like cats. If they like you, it's because you're probably feeding them.
Watch what happened at the end of his speech.
Thank you, everyone. Mr. President, how do you respond to white nationalists who say they're participating in Trump's vote because they support you?
They'd like me to sign the bill here instead of outside, so I think we'll do that. Okay? Thank you.
You know, for a second there, as he came back to the podium, I almost thought, well, maybe he's about to say the right thing. But of course not. He had one last shot before the buzzer on the racism clock hit 0, and he threw an air ball so far away it landed in the Third Reich. And for the record, even after he signed the bill, he got another chance.
Mr. President, do you want the support of these white nationalist groups who say they support you, Mr. President?
Mr. President,
have you denounced them strongly enough?
A car planning a group of people, would you call that terrorism, sir?
So here is the problem. Here is the problem with that. A non-answer in a moment like this is an answer.
My name is Matthew Helton. I identify as a Republican from the state of Indiana. In 2016, I voted for Donald Trump. I voted for Donald Trump because as a Christian male, I was always taught that the Republican Party is what the Christians, quote unquote, should vote for. When Charlottesville happened, I was done. At that point, Donald Trump said that there's good people on both sides. Completely not true. And as the months and months passed, with everything that's going on in this country, it's just further cemented the fact that this man is not good for our country.
So on this Richter scale of 1 to 10, this racist in chief gets an earth-shaking 10 once again for my reason to not vote for him. But let's talk about you. If you still support Donald Trump after everything that has happened, that is your burden to bear. Your failure as an American, as a patriot, as a citizen living in a country built on the spilled blood of good men and women who have fought for our freedom from oppression. You're now handing it over to a narcissistic, unempathetic, pathological liar and traitor to the United States of America. What does that say about you?
Make America great. Make it white.
MAGA red hat wearing diminished capacities have the audacity to say, I don't agree with you. Newsflash, you're not that important. Spoiler alert, I didn't ask for your opinion. And another thing, let me educate you white nationalist Trump supporters hiding behind your red hats when you really should be wearing your white hoods. Black Lives Matter. You treat racism like it's COVID-19. Number one, assume that you have it. Number two, listen to philosophers about it. Number three, don't spread it. And number four, be willing to change your life to end it. It's easier than wearing a face mask.
Can you please call your manager? Because I'm not happy here.
Because I don't have a face mask on. You just hit it. Bring me up, please, right now. Because I don't have a face mask on. You don't treat me with respect. Because I don't have, is that what you're saying? Ma'am, I'm seriously, I have been minding my business. I think your manager told me that I needed a mask next time I came in here. That's all that was said to me.
Before I go, let me remind you that it is your responsibility as an American citizen to vote on November 3rd. And down below, there's a link for you to click if you have any questions in regards to your rights based on the state you live in on how to vote. Click on it. Also, you could do early voting, mail-in ballot, absentee ballot, and vote in person. Vote early. Plan your whole day around it. Celebrate it. You have a voice in how all of this turns out. Now remember, if you vote for a third candidate, that's a vote for Donald Trump.
This is what people think 2016 looked like in the polls. Clinton got almost 66 million votes, Trump got almost 63 million votes, and the third party got almost 8 million votes. Trump still won because he had the majority of the Electoral College. However, it really looked like this. 100 million people were eligible to vote, but didn't vote. We're not doing that this year.
I'm voting for Joe Biden. And on November 3rd, Donald Trump, you're fired. So share this video with your Aunt Karen on Facebook and show it to your deplorable toothless Uncle Jimbo. You know, the one that's always waving the Confederate flag? Yeah, they're really gonna love this video. So subscribe. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok if it's still around. I'm all over the place spreading the liberal agenda. And all you're doing is bitching and complaining to complete strangers on social media. Way to go, Einstein, you big trendsetter. You, sir, are a loser. I will end this video with this. Even if the bee could explain to the fly why pollen is better than shit, the fly would not understand. Don't be a fly. Be a bee. Be better. Be smarter. And on November 3rd, vote for Joe Biden. See you next time.
You also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name.